Hey coaches, this is Coach Bill, and I'm going to give you a quick tour of all the cool analytics stuff you can do with Hoopsalytics. So let's get started. As one of our proof of concepts, we statted out a game with USF versus UVA from 2021, and so here's all the numbers that appeared. So what we did is we focused on the USF team, and so the first cool thing about Hoopsalytics is that every number in the box score links to video. So for example, if I want to see Jamari's assists, I can click here, and boom, here's his assist for 3. Likewise, I can play the next clip, see the next one, etc. Obviously, it's great for coaches and players. Excel. So the other neat thing you can do is you can isolate stats within a particular time range. So for example, if I just want to see how this guy's did in the second half, I can move the slider like so. Again, this works for high school as well. So here's the how these guys all did in the second half. Their points, assists, etc. Again, clicking on any number shows how that works. And then the details that you can get is really handy. So for example, I can click on the plus on any stat, and I can see the different kinds of shots each player took. So I can see just their makes, if I want, or their misses, or all the shots, or even just the percentage. And again, all these numbers are clickable, so you can, for example, see, if you want to see the 3 post moves that the whole team did. Look like this. So here comes one. Looks like he missed, etc. So again, a great way to drill down. And you can also see the percentages as well, the different kinds of shots. So you can sort of know what's working, what's not working, what's working in practice, etc. So these guys were 0 for 6 with runners. Maybe not a good idea to shoot so many runners, or maybe you just got to practice some more. And then, then we can go back to the number of shots. You can also do this on a per 100 basis, so you can see basically percentage-wise what kind of shots you're getting. So 40% dribble drives, pretty good. 20% runners, maybe more than you want. Hard to say. 10% post-ups. So again, it gives you a good idea of where your shots are coming from. And then defensive stats, kind of the same deal. You get all the traditional stuff: defense, rebounds, steals, blocks, charges, etc. One of the cool things that you can track with Hoopsalytics is it's really hard to measure defense, but we have this concept of a fail. So as you're scoring a game, you can basically isolate a particular place where a player lost his man or didn't box out or whatever. There's different kinds of fails you can categorize. You can even make your own. So here we had beat one-on-ones, closeouts, and out of positions. And again, clicking on the numbers, you can see what happened where. So for example, we've got 4 times they beat one-on-one. Click the number, and then the kids can sort of see, where they messed up. And that was actually a pretty good shot, but still he was beat, one-on-one. Here's another one. Yep, there it goes, etc. So measuring defense is obviously tricky, but this is a great way to do it. And then we have some team stats. So one of my favorite stats is the plus-minus. But plus-minus is kind of biased with how much time you play in the game. What you can do is, on the high school or college level, you can amortize it as if the player played the whole game, and click on top of the column header, see who was the most effective. So this game, Jonas Visser was super effective. If he had played the whole game, theoretically, he would have been, the team would have won by 50 points. Likewise, number 22, number 11, etc. Again, that's one of my favorite stats. And also, again, on different details, if you want to look at turnovers, you can see, what kind of turnovers the team had. They had 5 bad passes, 4 offensive fouls, double dribble, etc. And, if you want to shame your players, not that I recommend it, but you can sort of show them what they, where their turnovers were, and so on and so forth. Again, helps everybody get so much better. And then if we go back to the team stats, one of the other cool things you can do is, with the plus minus, sometimes one player will sort of coattail off another player. So for example, if I take Dimitri out, I can click on the exclude box here. And so now it's going to recalculate everything as if, Dimitri wasn't in the game. So it turns out, other people's stats gets worse. So Jonas, who is like the high plus minus, is basically coattailing off Dimitri here. And again, you can exclude multiple players, but it's a great way to see, how a particular player has effect on other players or even on the team stats as a whole, just by excluding them. And then there's rebounding stats, and these are team summaries, but I really like these because it shows what your rebounding percentage is on 3-pointers versus 2-pointers. So here, USF rebounded a high percentage of their offensive rebounded a high percentage of the 3-point shots, not so much on the 2-point shots, which is pretty interesting. So, that you would encourage your team, if you had a stat like this, you'd encourage your team to shoot more threes because they've got a 33% or 35% chance of getting more offensive rebounds. So it's basically, a free shot a third of the time, which is pretty awesome. Next, for your coaches, we have coaching stats. So these are super cool. So you can basically, look at all your different types of offensive sets. Look at your blobs, which is baseline, inbounds plays, set offense, sideline plays, transitions, etc. So here USF was, 1.25 points per outcome on transition, which is pretty darn good. And then with the little magnifier again, you can drill in and see, on what kinds of transitions, they did. So they had, secondary break here, turnovers, 1.25, really good. Rebounds, actually really good too. And then you can, look at the different outcomes if you want. So let's see where they made a 3-pointer off of a rebound, for example. So here comes the shot. Oh, there's a block. Okay, and here they are off in transition. I think we might have seen this earlier. Oh, and there you go. So that's how they scored off that thing. So again, super helpful. And as your coaching assistants or yourself get really in the details, you can categorize the different sets. So here, I did my best to categorize what I saw was happening on the baseline out of bounds plays. So I basically categorized everyone in the game for what they did. Over the course of the season, you're probably going to run some of these things, several times, so you can see which particular plays are really effective. And again, just drill down to see a particular, play, a week, 2 weeks later, see how it did. And also you can, make note of your opponent's inbounds play as well. See, if you want to steal from other coaches, great way to go. And then for a set offense, likewise, you can categorize your plays and stuff. So I don't understand everything that USF does. I categorized a couple of them, but if I wanted to, I can go back, or an assistant can go back and basically, look at these. So this one looks like it's a high pick and roll to a post. So yeah, there's lots of different things going on here. So maybe it's a continuity, so we can call it set offense, and I can either pick one of the tags I had previously, and there's a high pick and roll. So I can basically mark this set as a particular type of offensive motion, and again run stats on it as we go. And the last cool thing, actually we're going to recompile the stats after changing that, so you get a more updated view of what goes on. It doesn't take that long, compared to some of the other $30,000 systems out there. This is way faster. Okay, last thing is shot charts. So again, these are super cool. So basically, every shot that goes up, you can see where it came from. Greens are makes, reds are misses. If you just want to isolate on the makes or misses, you can do that. So this is where USF made their shots. You see the opponents, for example. So all the opponents' shots, and you can see where they made them from. A lot of stuff around the basket. You can also isolate on a particular kind of shot. So let's say you got 2 pointers. So this is what UVA did. We'll look at all their 2-pointers. And then you can even do a little bit of detail. So for example, if they had runners, looks like they just had 1 runner here, but maybe USF had some more runners. So we can, again, look at shot type 2-pointers, detail runners. So these are where all the runners came from. Again, they're 0 for 6, but you see a lot of them coming from the side. Maybe you want to practice that. And last thing is rebound charts. So you can also see, where your offensive rebounds came from. For example, these are offensive rebounds, and you can also detail it, like on 3-point shots. Where do the rebounds come from on a 3-point shot? All the offensive and defensive rebounds. So they're kind of spaced out. You can see 2-point shots a lot closer in, kind of what you'd expect. I'm big on making sure you box out on free throws. So it's only just 1 rebound here, but it's good to see that. So that's kind of an overview of all the cool things you can do with Hoopsalytics. Again, this, Hoopsalytics evolves according to, the feedback we hear from coaches and our own experiences coaching and that sort of thing. Please contact us if you want to learn more, if you have any questions, or if you have some great ideas for us. And thanks for watching.